things are changing at Microsoft?
Um,
Paul and I just had a
please.
different discussion. That's not where this one's headed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, please
Microsoft's
continue.
business development chief, Chris Young, is now out of the company.
Business development chief.
Yeah,
What part of the company was he in?
I think the top,
Oh, just like a okay,
because they had
like
to
a C
file an
level. So
SEC document with it.
yeah,
He's been there for. Did he follow?
I'm not
Uh,
even familiar with this name.
he
So
joined
I'm
in
not familiar.
2020,
Yeah,
but he was the head of business development. And he also. So here's the thing, according to CNBC, and I don't know if this is related, but to him, his exit, he says he helped orchestrate the software's giant acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which obviously we know was a huge
I
deal.
has gone swimmingly too. But yeah,
Yeah. But to me, like, he may have orchestrated that. That's perfectly reasonable, but that doesn't feel like that was his deal. I mean, that was a Phil
no,
Spencer led thing. Like, we
and
should go
even
buy this. And they were like, okay, Chris Young, you're going to now negotiate and get us on board or whatever.
there had to have been hundreds of people on this.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, okay.
So he could,
Um,
he could, I mean, we might find out in like 3 days that he's going to be the CEO of Sonos. Who knows? And this is all a nothing burger. However, there's been a lot of layoffs at Microsoft. There's more changes ahead down coming for the company,
yeah.
and then this guy's
So
out, and
right. So we didn't talk about this too much, or I don't if we did, I don't recall, but last weekish I got some frantic text messages from a couple of ex Microsoft employees. They're kind of on these alumni
mhm.
message boards and stuff. And there there were what appeared from the outside to be like a minor series of layoffs last week, but they were both trying to tell me that this is way bigger than it seems. Like it was like they were it was like a pogrom to remove some level of like program management from across the company.
Mhm.
Um, which I didn't honestly know what to make of. I contacted Mary Jo and she was like, so we kind of went back and forth on that. Some giant bird just landed on the balcony over here, it's like squawking around. Anyway, um, so I'm reminded of the time about a year ago, not quite a year ago, when Microsoft announced we're bringing in this Mustafa Suleiman guy from
Mhm.
Inflection, along with the entire company, but we're not really acquired.
Yep.
Just kidding. Don't worry, regulators. Nothing's happening here. To start a new Microsoft AI. I think they refer to it as an organization. I kind of want to show you this bird because it's just that the thing it would be so small in the camera it wouldn't make sense, but it's like a like this giant bird. Let me see if we can share the
Oh yeah, just
um
getting
very
the
aggressive.
scraps.
Yeah. Anyway, there was a guy, I don't remember who he was, but he led a team responsible for most of Microsoft's in-house AI stuff
Mhm.
at the time on the what I would call the consumer side. So it was like Edge and Bing and I guess whatever the Copilot stuff was that was related to that for for individuals. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm not working in this organization. This is nonsense." And he was, and I think he left the company eventually. So now they've done another new Microsoft AI, whatever, this time I think they're calling it a division, again, bringing in someone from the outside to lead it. And I'm wondering if between all the outsiders and people inside who were like, excuse me, I've been here for X amount of time and I have whatever, um, strengths or whatever I bring to the
Mhm.
table, and you're hiring over here and you're doing this stuff. And this whole everything has to it's like AI. And like, look, this has always been Microsoft. At one time it was all about Windows. At one time, for a long time, it was all cloud. And that was where the parts of the company that I kind of care about kind of ran afoul of, Microsoft's broader aims. It's one of the reasons why Windows is so crappy today in some ways. And I wonder if this is more of that kind of thing. Like, and you could argue, like, inevitably, Microsoft does have to change. They have to change with the times. The world's changing and whatever. And the stuff that I care about, maybe some other people, maybe you, is starting to not just be diminished, but is literally going away. And these people are tired of it, right?
Mhm.
There are people I don't care about, like, Panos Panay when he left and his budget, you just know the story's going to be budget cut, budget cut, budget cut, budget cut. And then finally he was like, I can't do this anymore. Like the thing I want to do is not even possible. Um, so I wonder if this I wonder if this is all part of something broader. Maybe, I mean, literally, you opened with Microsoft is changing, right? It's like maybe that is what's happening,
Yep.
I mean, it's happening fast. That's the nature of AI. It seems like huge AI announcement. 1 year later, Microsoft AI. 1 year later, whatever this new organization, I can't even remember the name of it, which is basically a reorg of what used to be like dev div
Hmm.
and that part of the server infrastructure to whatever it is. Like that, this is Microsoft is restructuring, and I mean, yes, organizationally, there are, Microsoft reorganizes from time to time, like any company, but literally restructuring around AI is the point of the company. And there does come a point for people who kind of support whatever it is, whatever products, technologies, whatever things we care about, and I mean, how far do you get pushed before you're like, I don't even know what this company is anymore? Like, what are we doing here? It's, I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost an existential question. I mean,
They
I
make
don't know.
Windows. I hope they don't screw that up. Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. I actually, that's a self-interest
I was
related
gonna
comment.
say, there's a company that makes something called Candyland. Like, I mean, what are we comparing this thing to? Like, I feel like it's just a lot of stuff that I care about feels like it's on autopilot, and or the people or the team or whatever it is running the show are just like just so disconnected from reality or from what
Yeah.
quality looks like or however you want to say it. I mean, I don't know anymore.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know.
Windows is Windows. Xbox has a I don't say not a non-future, but it's a non-traditional. Right, the
Yes,
past 25 years or whatever, how long it's been, future is going to look way different. Surface is a shell of its former self, and it's just not what it used to be.
I know. It, I might make the argument that within a world in which Surface has to exist, that Surface may be as close to what it should be. But yes, I mean, you're right. At one time, there was a lot of promise and excitement, and the future was possible. And now it just seems like, well, it's on autopilot, like Windows. I mean, it's the
Hmm.
same org. I mean, I I feel honestly a little bit better about Xbox in the sense that it's understandable what it's becoming, which is
Yes,
just
that is
basically
very
a game.
fair. Yep.
It's a game studio, right? Like we think of it as this platform that is a console,
Hmm.
and there is a platform element to it. It's a little more cross-platform, which a lot of people don't like, and I sort of get that. But having sort of, I don't game as much as I used to, obviously, but um, now it's kind of on the PC again, which is bizarre. But how that world has evolved. I mean, I think having an overreaching platform or just whatever it is, a brand even that goes from mobile to console to PC, whatever, wherever, including third party consoles, which again some people find tough,
Hmm.
makes sense as a business, right? I mean, that was Activision. It's you could make that argument. It's just becoming Activision basically with more studios. Maybe Activision should have bought the Xbox Game Studios or whatever it was called, Microsoft Game Studios. I don't know, but except that organization was terrible. Um, so yeah, Microsoft's changing. I think you said we should have just ended it right there. You should have said Microsoft is changing, and we could have outroed because the rest of this was just filler to explain that. Yeah, what you just said is probably correct. I'm sure there's a lot more to it too.
Probably. Probably. I mean, they're. I can't. I
I
was
know.
I was chatting with Raph a little bit about this yesterday. I cannot
Hmm.
say this without laughing because of the hilarity of what is about to come out of my mouth. But
Yeah.
OpenAI, which is basically the core of what a lot of Microsoft is doing,
Hmm.
has announced they're going to start building their own stuff, their own data centers, because Microsoft can't keep up, and it
Right.
might actually be the biggest rug pull in the history of ever. If they
I,
show up
I
and they're like, yeah,
I see that both in both directions. But yes, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I think from Microsoft's perspective, they can't keep up. A lot of the workloads that OpenAI is doing are, will benefit them. They get some percentage of whatever they sell. It's still good for them in a way, but
it is, but
it would be
it's
nice to, but no, but you want to off put, like, if you look at that infrastructure's plumbing, it's like
mhm.
you want to use the electricity and resources of Oracle or whoever it is, and then we still benefit from it. But Microsoft's like, yeah, okay. Plus, they still have the right of first refusal, right?
They do. Microsoft, I'm not insinuating they're in a bad position, but we've all just kind of sat here and thought, like, they're kind of betting the farm on this other company and their AI capabilities. And then you start to see
The-
things fracturing just the slightest.
OpenAI and Microsoft are like a power couple where they're both richer than hell.
Yeah.
Except one of them is a lot richer than the other, but they're both really rich and they hate each other so much, but they're partnering to get to get both, each of them want to get ahead in life.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them probably will, but eventually it will be like a Bill and Melinda Gates thing or a Jeff Bezos and whatever her name was, Mackenzie Bezos or
Yeah.
whatever, where like this isn't going to work out because the primary money earner in this equation can barely stand the sight of you, you know, and that other person or in company in this case is probably going to be fine. They're going to
Yeah.
walk away with they're going to do okay.
It's the
So I don't know.
gosh, I cannot think of the name of the movie. It was
War
Brad
of the
Pitt
Roses.
and
Oh
Angelina, and
no,
they were both
yes.
spies trying to kill each other.
That was a beautiful age thing. That's Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
So yes, that was Mr. and Mrs. Smith was the kind of modern take on War of the Roses, which was Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner in the late 1980s, probably. Which was they hate each other and are actively trying to kill each other by the time this. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another way to describe that is marriage.
Yes. Hi, honey.